ministry is called Answers in Genesis. So we're not a church. We don't have pastors per se on staff, and we don't have worship services. We exist as a ministry to help the church answer some of the tough questions of the day about the authority of the Bible. But at the same time, we're very evangelistic about sharing our faith, as you've already seen in the Creation Museum. So our outreach is to Christians, first and foremost, to equip them to have answers, to defend their faith, but also as we answer questions about why does God allow death and suffering, how does the Bible explain dinosaurs? When we attempt to give answers to those types of questions from both science and Scripture, then people are more open to the gospel message.
You see, he admits right there that they are a religion. They are clearly not a scientific institution. They're a religion. They make that very clear. No bones about it, as do the signs inside the facility.
Now, when we opened the museum in late May, we had some prominent evolutionists, including those just on the other side of the Ohio River, who said that any public school that sends its students here in mass will be sued. And so, to my knowledge, I don't think we've had a public school class attend the Creation Museum. Maybe it's happened and I'm not aware of it, but there is the threat of a lawsuit by the so-called civil liberties organizations if a public school seemed to endorse a field trip to the museum.
I wonder why he says so-called civil liberties organization. And what does he have against American civil liberties? And quite correctly, they should be sued. The school should be sued if they try to pass off what is admittedly religion out of this fellow's own mouth. He says they are trying to teach the religious truth. And if a school were to bring students to expose them to that, they should be sued, unless it's done in the context of comparative religion or superstitions of the world or something of that sort.
Do you think evolution should be removed from schools?
Absolutely not. Evolution is a worldview that is paramount. It's dominating science museums, our public schools, science journals. It needs to be taught, but it needs to be taught warts and all. And I would argue that public school teachers should have the academic freedom to, at the very least, bring up the problems with the evolutionary worldview.
And of course they do that.
Who's they?
I think if there are problems there with the scientific theory of evolution that is in fact discussed, there is not a problem with it. There are questions about it. For example, it's well known that evolution occurred. There are questions about the precise mechanism for how evolution occurred. That is subject to discussion, research, and the ongoing acquisition of knowledge. The issue of whether evolution occurred or not is not really open to question by any reputable scientist.